This video is brought to you by Squarespace.
Well, ahoy there cruisers, welcome to South Georgia. This is possibly one of the most unique and remote places that we have ever cruised to. It's absolutely incredible. I'm currently stood in the middle of a huge fur seal colony with absolutely tons of little baby seal pups which are adorable. Also located here are some amazing and majestic king penguins. The sounds, the sights and the smells are something that are just incredible. I had to stop for a second when we landed here to take it all in because it's nothing like we have ever experienced before. On South Georgia, there's very few humans that live here, only scientists and researchers, which means that this is an absolute paradise for wildlife to grow here and to really thrive. And we're going to be able to experience a lot of it in the next few days on this cruise. Currently, our ship's just docked out in the bay and we took a Zodiac over here, which was a lot of fun. I feel like a proper adventurer and a proper explorer. We are suited and booted and we're ready to explore. I'm just keeping an eye out in the background because I don't want any fur seals to come up to me too close because the little baby pups are quite inquisitive. They do tend to get quite close to us because they're very interested in what we're doing. They are so adorable though.
I am completely and utterly lost for words. I really am. This is just completely surreal in every single way. As David said, the noises are something else. We could hear them all the way on the ship in the bay there, and it is literally insane to hear them all whining and droning and making noises. The little pups are barking, and oh my gosh, those little fur seal babies. Guys, they are the most adorable thing you have ever seen. Massive glassy eyes, barking around all over the place, and they are so curious they keep coming up to us. So what we had to do is make ourselves look big and start shouting at them, which is quite funny. And the noises that the king penguins make as well, they sound like a drone taking off, and then they all start to coordinate and sound really funny. But this is just an experience of a lifetime. Nobody gets to come here. Very few people on planet Earth have been to the South Georgia Islands. They're right smack bang in the middle of nowhere in the South Atlantic Ocean. It's taken us about 2.5 days to get here from the Falkland Islands, so make sure you go back and watch our video from last week where we visited the amazing Falkland Islands. It was an experience as well, but this is just amazing. It must be what the Earth was like before any humans touched it. Completely unspoiled and natural, and it's fantastic. The cruise line, Poseidon Expeditions, have got very strict guidelines about where we can go, where we cannot go. We have to stay a certain amount of space away from the animals, and any dead animals as well, we had to stay even further. And there's very rigorous cleaning procedures as well before we get off the ship. So it feels very good that they've put a lot of thought into keeping this area just as spectacular as it is now. But this is just, wow. I mean, what do I say? It's just nuts. It's absolutely fabulous. Oh, I could stay here forever. But it is a bit cold, -5 degrees Celsius, so we are very much wrapped up today.
What I'm finding so incredible is how I'm able to see these animals in their completely wild and natural habitat. I've seen penguins before, and I've actually seen wild penguins before in South Africa, but usually to get to see some of these animals, they're going to be in captivity or something like that. But to see them in a completely wild environment is so special and magical. And also just to see how they interact with each other as well, because how the sea lions and the little baby pups are so funny when they're just sort of interacting with each other, and then the parents are getting grumpy at them. It's all very, very interesting. I could just stand here for days and days and just watch how all these animals are behaving because it is something so special and so unique. I love it, guys. It is breathtaking. As soon as we got off that boat onto land here, my jaw just dropped and I was completely gobsmacked. It is incredible. The size of some of these animals is mind-blowing. It's like something out of Jurassic Park down here. The birds are huge, the seals are huge, the penguins are getting bigger and bigger the further into this journey that we go. It's such a beautiful and unique experience and something that I never ever thought we'd get to do. Oh, I'm getting attacked. Shoo! I'm making myself big. See, I showed him. Oh, she's giving me the eye. She's giving me the stink eye. And then there's a little fur seal as well, a little baby one. Whoa! See, they're so inquisitive. They are so curious.
So we are back on board the ship, the little ship. If you didn't watch last week, she's only a tiny little ship. She only holds 114. We've got 106 passengers on board, and she is really lovely. But like I said in the last episode, very rocky indeed in these seas. But by gosh, it is so worth it to get to come to places like this, guys. South Georgia, somewhere I've never even heard of really before, apart from on a David Attenborough documentary, and that's what it feels like. It feels like we're in the centre of a documentary, and it's very hard to describe what it feels like to be here, because I was kind of expecting things, and I'd seen pictures and video, but nothing had prepared me for this, really. It's just incredible. You are surrounded by wildlife. Just now I can see hundreds of seals flapping about. I can still hear the penguins on land, and we must be a mile away. My mouth is frozen. I'm very happy and warm inside though. It's just fantastic. What a first excursion that was. And the great thing about cruises like this being so small means that we can get off multiple times a day very quickly. So if you're on a big ship with 300-400 people, stuff like this just isn't possible, because it would take far too long to get every 10 people into a Zodiac boat, off them back on. So they usually split it down and do different dates for different people. But for us, we get to do absolutely everything, and it's just wonderful. It really is. Oh, I'm just having the best time, guys. We're already a week down, and it just feels like it's been minutes. It's absolutely, definitely the trip of a lifetime. What are you doing, David?
I've just came upstairs under the heaters to defrost. I feel like a lizard seeking out the sun. I'm defrosting my fingers because actually my central core of my body was very, very nice and toasty. It's just my fingers are freezing. The little ends of my fingers went very, very numb. But just as we got back on board, we had a little cup of tea to warm them up. But I came upstairs because they've got these lovely heaters, and you can stand outside but stay nice and toasty. And Ben's just mentioned that the hot tub's on. So the hot tub is on and running. It's the first time we've seen it, because it's been far too bumpy on the cruise. It's the first time we've seen it running on this cruise. I am tempted, are you?
Very tempted. Obviously you don't get the bells and whistles you do on cruise ships, but they do have a lovely hot tub. Oh, I can feel the steam, Dave. That feels lovely.
Yeah, it does feel nice and lovely. And there's nothing better than getting into a hot tub when it's sub-zero temperatures outside. I am very tempted, but dinner is very soon, so I don't think we'll have time to go in it today, but I am so excited to get in the hot tub. Oh, especially when we get down to the Antarctic and it is proper snowing outside. That'd be amazing.
So one thing that we've also just done, we've just had our daily catch-up where basically we discuss exactly what we're going to do on the following day. We've been looking at weather and things like that, because weather does really impact these trips. So unlike a normal cruise itinerary, everything's quite loose, so it's not really decided until really the day before, because it's all based on weather conditions. And we've got some big storms around South Georgia at the moment. This area of the world does attract big storms because there isn't much land to stop winds and things in their tracks, but it is going to be very windy tomorrow. But the crew have put together a plan A, a plan B, then a plan C to see what's going to go on. And it's really good, guys. It's really nice to get all of the information, really detailed information about exactly what's going to be happening the following day. So basically, all you've got to do is be flexible. That's all I'm really saying, because things can change at the very last minute. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, what the weather's going to be like. So the great thing is that unlike a normal cruise schedule, if the weather's crap and the cruise ship misses the port, that's it. These guys will work around it, so you get to see everywhere, which is really, really good. Anyway, we're a bit heavily dressed for dinner, David, so should we go down and get ready, and then we'll go get some food? I am starving. I think we've definitely worked up an appetite, having walked and been in the cold all day.
Fancy a cup of tea?
Before dinner?
Yes, a nice pre-dinner cup of tea rather than a pre-dinner cocktail.
Oh, David, there's some chill in that wind, isn't there?
It is, and every 2 seconds it changes the weather. Come on in, it's nice and warm in here, come on.
This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the platform we use to create our own website. Have you ever thought about starting your own website but felt overwhelmed by the tech side? Well, I felt the same way until I tried Squarespace, and let me tell you, it's a game changer. First, the design intelligence is incredible. In just a few clicks, it helped me create a personalized website that looks like it was made by a professional designer. Then there's the SEO tools, so important if you want people to actually find your site. Squarespace takes care of all of the tricky stuff like sitemaps and meta descriptions for you, so your site is optimized from the get-go. And my favorite feature? Well, Squarespace payments. If you're selling anything, you can accept payments seamlessly with options like Apple Pay and Klarna to make it even easier for your customers. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Ben and David to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Oh my gosh, I've got about 15 blooming layers on, guys. I really have. Anyway, we came into the little lounge on the club deck, which is our deck number 4. As I said, she's a very small ship, so don't expect any bells and whistles on this ship. It's literally a couple of lounges, one bar, free tea and coffee 24 hours a day with some cookies as well, which is great.
And apparently there is a gym somewhere, but I've not seen it.
Oh my God, is there a gym? I've not seen that at all. But yeah, they're doing an afternoon tea in here as well, 4 till 5 every day, which is really nice. You get some little sandwiches and cakes and things. We went for a few little cakes, and I've been loving all of my tea. Got a peppermint tea, which has been quite nice for the seasickness as well. Talking about seasickness, they've got a lot of seasickness on this ship, so they're quite well equipped with their green apples. They've got ginger chews as well as medication available at the reception, because we've run out already. We've been taking 2 a day, the maximum dose, because it's been quite rough, and we've run out. But fear not, reception does have them. But it's lovely to come in here after a full day outside, warm up, grab some cake, just have a little bit of a chill out, eh? Lovely. Cheers. Well, good morning, everybody. It's the next day and we've already been out. It was a 7 a.m. wake-up call, but last night we had a lovely dinner in the main dining room, a 4-course meal with a nice selection of food. Like we said in an earlier vlog, it isn't about the food though. It really is about the expedition and the actual whole trip as a whole. Guys, my face is frozen because we've just been out. We've been out in a place called Antarctic Bay. We did try a few other places this morning, including Possession Bay, but the weather was simply too rough. But we went out anyway, and that was absolutely incredible. We saw huge glaciers, lots of ice in the water, which just looked magical. It was raining like nothing else, but it was amazing. It was very stormy. We saw lots of seals, fur seals and elephant seals and baby elephant seals. We unfortunately saw a dead elephant seal as well, being eaten by some petrels as well. And we saw lots of little penguins and things. It was just magical across the shore. In this weather, it just felt something amazing, like we're on this incredible expedition, and it was very authentic. It was a 2-hour journey almost as well. So what's great, even in bad weather, you're still taking off, and because you've been told to bring all of this stuff with you that keeps you warm, it really does. Anyway, David's going to take everything off layer by layer and just show you what we're wearing to keep warm, because it is freezing outside and very wet. Were you warm, David?
Yeah, so my whole body was actually very, very toasty indeed. The only thing that was cold was my fingers, because the gloves that we've got are not great, but we also brought mittens as well, so it's easier to use our cameras and our phones. I think that's a great result. The only thing was my fingers that was cold. Everything else was lovely and toasty.
Definitely bring waterproof gloves as well. Ours are not waterproof.
It's the only thing we've made a little bit of a mistake of, but apart from that, everything else is great. Right, are you ready?
We're ready.
Do you want to play some sexy music, Ben?
Right, so first of all, we've got the life jacket, which you're given from the company, and the big old jacket, which is actually amazing, and we get to take this away with us, which is pretty cool, guys. But there we go, there's the first layer of jackets. And he's got another underlayer of jackets, and trust me, you do need this because it gets very, very cold. Look at that. So one sweater gone, then another sweater underneath, and then he's got his long johns on underneath as well, which is thermal underwear, as well as a hat as well. There we go, so that's the thermal underwear. Don't worry, he's not going to go any further than this. And then we've got the waterproof trousers, the boots as well, which Poseidon do provide. You've got to give these back at the end, but they're very, very good, very sturdy. And you tuck your waterproofs, which you bring with you. So you can basically wear whatever trousers you want to, and then put these waterproofs over the top. But David underneath has some thermal ski pants, which are awesome. We bought these from Amazon, and they're very, very good indeed. And then under that, he's got another layer of thermal underwear. So quite a lot, as you can see, guys. Crazy. So there you have it. Lots and lots of layers of clothes. And to be fair, it's kept us very, very dry and very, very warm, which is the most important thing. Anyway, I think we're going to go head for some tea and coffee, then maybe some lunch, because we missed breakfast this morning. We did sleep in because we were quite tired from all of the movement the previous few nights. And last night was so smooth. So it was so lovely. And we got a lovely night's sleep, which is fabulous, right? Gonna have a nice hot shower as well before we go out. So guys, we're all showered and everything, just laying on the bed because it is very, very rough. We are making our way through to Grytviken, which I think is the capital of South Georgia. Oh my gosh, it is legitimately like being on a blooming roller coaster. It is crazy. So it feels like we're just flying and taking off, and smack, the front of the ship hits the water. The bow of the ship just smacks the water, which is crazy. But yeah, it is very, very, very rocky. It is absolutely crazy. Just keeping an eye on everything that nothing's going to fall off as well. But yeah, very rough indeed. And it's just about lunchtime as well, which is great timing, isn't it? Just what you need when you're going for lunch is a roller coaster. But hey, it is what it is. It's all part of the fun, isn't it? It's really hard to show what it's actually like, but it is very, very bad. David's not feeling great either. He didn't take any seasickness tablets because we're not really going out at sea today. We're just making our way to a different part of the island.
So, quite annoyingly, the buffet looked absolutely wonderful, And I just had a slice of bread because I'm not feeling too great. I feel quite seasick at the moment because I didn't take a pill before we left. I didn't realise it was going to be this rough. Anyway, Ben enjoyed the buffet and he said it was very good. So there's a selection of hot and cold foods. Each day there's like a cold selection with different salads where you can make your own salad, and then they have like 3 salads of the day. Then there's a selection of hot items. And then there's always like a live cooking station where it's like noodles or pasta or paella or something like that. Little desserts. Are you okay? Thanks. I've got one and I've got a sick bag in my pocket just in case. Little desserts, cheese and fruit. But for my lunch today, I'm going to have some ginger candy because I don't want to risk anything. So I want to keep my stomach nice and happy. Oh, geez. The ship's like leading. This is my lunch. Yum.
Let's talk a little bit about South Georgia. It's hard to put into words just how incredible this place is. There's no place on earth quite like it. The first sight of its jagged peaks and icy cliffs felt like stepping into a dream. The island's beauty is raw and untamed, and what struck us most was how it seemed to transform by the minute. One moment the mountains were glowing in the sunlight, the next they vanished into a shroud of mist as the weather changed in an instant. South Georgia isn't just a destination, it's an experience. The island is home to some of the largest wildlife colonies on Earth. The beaches here are alive with energy. Thousands of fur seals sprawled across the shore, playfully chasing each other in the surf, whilst elephant seals, enormous and almost prehistoric looking, lounged in the sand like sleepy giants. We kept our distance. Those fur seals may look cute, but they can be feisty. Watching them in their natural habitat was mesmerising. And then there are the penguins. Thousands upon thousands of king penguins, their sleek black and gold feathers standing out against the stark landscape. Their calls echoed all around us, creating an almost surreal soundtrack to the scene. It's incredible to think that such vibrant life thrives in a place so remote and so wild. But South Georgia is more than just its wildlife. Its landscapes are utterly breathtaking. Everywhere you look, the scenery takes your breath away. From the lush green hills to the icy cliffs plunging into the sea, South Georgia feels like a place where every corner holds a new wonder. South Georgia is one of the world's greatest conservation success stories. Decades ago, invasive species like rats threatened its fragile ecosystem, but thanks to the South Georgia government, the island is now rat-free, allowing native birds like the South Georgia pea-pit to thrive again. South Georgia stands as proof that with care and action, nature can bounce back in remarkable ways. It's a sanctuary and a symbol of hope. We couldn't help but feel overwhelmed by the privilege of being here. South Georgia is wild, untamed and alive in a way that words simply can't capture. It's a reminder of just how extraordinary our planet can be. It's wild, unpredictable and absolutely unforgettable. As we left, we can't help but feel grateful to have experienced such untouched beauty. A place that will stay with us forever. Now let's go and explore some more. And wow, what an exploration it's been as well. I mean, we've came out at sunset just to take a look and it is just absolutely stunning. Breathtaking isn't even the word, guys, it really isn't. To be surrounded by these beautiful icebergs and that just incredible scenery right there. It looks like a painting. Trust me, in real life, it doesn't look like it's actually there. It looks like some beautiful watercolor in the distance, but no, it's actually there in front of us and it's just absolutely spectacular in every single way. Like I said, to say we're lucky to be able to experience this is the absolute biggest understatement I've ever made. It's just wonderful. The sounds, the smells, truly will never forget this experience. It's just been the absolute best.
We have been blessed with seeing some amazing sunsets in the time that we have been cruising, and this has to be one of the most spectacular. What I just can't comprehend is how dramatic it can be from one side to the other. So on this side we have dark clouds and a sort of stormy atmosphere, and then over in the background here we have the absolutely picturesque sunset against those white mountains, which is incredible. The colours are absolutely gorgeous as well. This has to be one of the most beautiful scenes I've ever been in. Incredible.
A very good morning. It is absolutely stunning today, guys. What a change in the weather. Yesterday we were freezing our bums off. Today I'm having to remove layers to keep cool because it is 10 degrees, which is about, what's that, about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Blue skies, no clouds, gorgeous scenery. Again, we're met with a plethora of different seals, elephant seals and fur seals, and they're all gorgeous. We can see some penguins in the distance. We're going to go for a bit of a hike have a little bit of a wander around. We've got 2.5 hours here, which is plenty of time. We've had to park or mount the shore at a different part than we wanted to, just because there's too many animals where we need to go. So we're going to do a walk all the way around, because this is an old whaling station. We've got one of the ships that used to do the whaling that's been stranded here as well. It was moored here, but the mooring lines broke and then it ended up over on the other side of the bay. So she's stuck here. We've got a lovely shipwreck, and yeah, it's going to be a fabulous day. I can feel it. We've got 2 excursions today, so amazing. I'm so glad to see the weather has definitely improved. It just means we can do more, which is fabulous. But wow, this is amazing. We've got our sun lotion on as well, because we will burn, because it's still summer down here. Let's go explore.
Just behind me, we've got a huge group of female elephant seals, and they're all huddled together, relaxing, all laid on top of each other, napping and yawning. It's an amazing to see, because they're absolutely huge, and they're the females. We haven't seen any males quite yet, and they're apparently much bigger, so I'm really excited to see that. But all around there's remnants of the whaling that happened here. And when you think about it, the whaling was absolutely huge and had detrimental effects on the wildlife here. Not just from the whaling itself, but from all the invasive species and all the rats and mice that they brought to the islands. They really did devastate the wildlife down here. At one point there was over 3,000 people working in the whale industry and living here in South Georgia. It wasn't until the 1960s, when new restrictions came in place, that the wildlife began to bounce back to what it is today.
So we're in a place called Ocean Bay at the moment, and this actual place wasn't used for whaling itself. More, it was used to bring the coal in, because the whale blubber was so expensive they didn't want to burn it as fuel, so they actually brought in coal on ships. And this is one of those stations where the coal was stored, and there's a few structures on here, 1 or 2 little buildings which were used by the whalers back in the day. But yeah, now it's completely unspoiled, and it's great to see that that doesn't happen here anymore. And like we said earlier on, the South Georgia government and conservationists have put a lot of effort into making this place as natural and as clean and as unique and pristine as it's always been. Later in the day, we jumped into Zodiac's for a cruise around Gold Harbour, the southernmost point of South Georgia. The beach was an absolute spectacle. Thousands of king penguins stretched along the shore, framed by a towering glacier and stunning waterfalls. The seas were rough, making it a thrilling ride, but the views were more than worth it. Poseidon Expeditions is doing an incredible job of protecting this pristine environment. Every time we leave or return to the ship, we follow strict cleaning protocols to ensure we don't accidentally introduce anything harmful to the island. It's amazing to see such care for this fragile ecosystem. Now, let's skip to the next day.
Welcome to Grytviken. This is the only permanent settlement here in South Georgia, and it's actually the capital of this very, very tiny population of a nation. Established in 1904 as a whaling station, you can actually see lots of the remnants of the whaling that happened here. This was one of 7 whaling stations that were spread all across the islands here. This is the home of the British Antarctic Survey, which is just across the bay there. While we can't actually visit the survey area, so we can't visit their offices, there's still actually lots to explore here. There's the old whaling station, like I mentioned, there's a church and a museum, plus lots of animals. So let's have a look around, shall we? It's a gorgeous day. I'm actually sweating today.
So the first stop on our little tour of Grytviken is the cemetery. Yes, so this place is filled with graves of explorers as well as whalers. And one of the most famous explorers, Ernest Shackleton, died on the island and was buried here as well. So it's quite poignant to see all of the graves here. It's not something you'd usually expect to see in a place where nobody really lives, but yeah, it was loved by him. So that's why his wife decided for him to be buried here back in 1922. So yeah, quite a sobering start to the day, guys, but yeah, it is what it is. It's unusual to see this sort of thing on an island, like I say, with no infrastructure or anything. But we're going to go head into the town now and do a little bit of exploring. It looks quite interesting over there. Some incredible sights filled with lots of seals running about, so we're going to have to dodge them on our way in as well.
It's fascinating, the scale of the whaling industry, especially when you see it right in front of you. So you can actually see a lot of the old machinery that was here, that was used during whaling. It's all been cleaned now from any materials such as asbestos and things like that. So it's safe for us to explore, but more importantly, safe for the animals as well, because a lot of them have taken this up as their home. It's actually really fascinating to be here to listen to them, because they're quite funny sounding. So the penguins almost sound like an accordion. And then the seals sometimes sound like they're screaming for bloody murder. They sound like they're in absolute pain. Every now and again, the seals are quite high pitched. So the little baby seals will be quite high pitched. And then you'll just get one little baby seal that has the deepest voice ever. It's really funny just to stand and listen and just to watch, because it's something that I'd never expected to hear When you think of a seal, you just think of but no, they make some incredible noises.
This place really is incredible. It's crazy to think that the whaling went on all the way to the 1960s here, so it's not even that long ago. There's lots of remains of all of the buildings, the messes, the accommodation, as well as the church behind us. Should we go and have a little look inside? It is crazy to think that at one point this was like a city with over 1,000 men here doing the whaling and all of the support with that as well. And it's good to see that that isn't the case anymore and whaling isn't allowed here. Now, most of the whalers came from Norway, but a few came from Argentina as well as the Falkland Islands as well. Oh, can you hear the bell calling us? Let's go.
So we've come inside to the church now, which has been pristinely upkept as well. And all around there's lots of memories of people that have died here and served here, as well as a small library at the back. And of course, them church bells.
Wow, the church is amazing. Obviously built by Norwegians in 1913, and it's the only building that still serves its purpose of what it was built for. It was used as a community centre as well back in the day. Most of the people weren't religious, but it was heavily used. And I've got to say that library is amazing. The books in there are ancient, which is crazy to see. But what a wonderful place to visit all of the history. There's lots of shipwrecks here as well. All of the factory things are starting to degrade and things, but it's still great to see all of the history.
Anyway. Even in the middle of nowhere, at the most remote place on the end of the earth, there's still a post office and a gift shop. So let's have a look and maybe send ourselves a postcard to see how long it takes to get home, whether we arrive before the postcard does. So we have our postcard and our stamps as well. We had a choice of stamps to choose from. We went for the wildlife ones. And what we're going to do is we're going to post this back to ourselves at home, and this maybe will arrive before we get home in March, or it might take longer because the post has to go from here to the Falklands, and the Falklands to the UK, and then from the UK to wherever else people are sending them. So China, Germany, the US, but we're going to send it back to Yorkshire as a little note to our future selves.
That is so cool to see a full-on shop with lots of merchandise and things. Who would know that or expect it in a place like that? Anyway, postcard's gone. David also bought a hat as well because he wanted something a little bit unique to remember this place by, because it really is a trip of a lifetime. Anyway, the time has come to get back on the ship, and we've got another excursion this afternoon that we're very excited about, because we're going to see hundreds of thousands of a certain little creature. So let's go back. So we did our second excursion to St Andrews Bay now. The swell was a little bit too high, so we couldn't actually get on shore, and there was too many animals as well. But we just had an amazing epic cruise. So this is where you'll find 200,000 king penguins, arguably the biggest colony in the whole world, definitely the biggest here on South Georgia. Oh my gosh guys, it looked completely crazy. We saw so many of them, it was completely nuts. Now you're probably wondering why I'm smoking. Well, we're back on the ship and we are quite literally smoking because it's the barbecue. So once a cruise they do a big barbecue here on Poseidon Expeditions, and we're here on the top deck on deck 5. We've got some beautiful food cooking and barbecuing over there, some lovely seating and flags and lots of different types of food and salad, and the desserts. Oh my gosh, the desserts look absolutely amazing. So yeah, that was a really nice 2-hour expedition on the Zodiac, so a Zodiac cruise, and it was fantastic. But now we're going to eat. I'm absolutely starving, so definitely worked up an appetite because it's getting a bit chilly out here, but it looks spectacular. It's going to be a gorgeous sunset. This is so surreal. It's amazing.
Well, that is the end of another adventurous vlog. It's not the end of the cruise though. We did have the barbecue dinner. It was absolutely delicious. I may have ate 2 burgers. Ben said he had a big sausage. You do not want to see the mime that he did to remind me that he had had a big sausage and the barbecue dinner. It was really good. The sausages were like proper German bratwurst, really delish. Sorry we haven't filmed much of the meals. It's because we're on a shared table a lot of the time and it's just a little bit awkward filming. And because this is quite a small ship, it was a little bit cramped up there. Anyway, fabulous barbecue dinner. The best thing though was that view, guys. It was incredible. Sat having barbecue food with that amazing view. Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned because there is even more coming, because next stop is Antarctica. Yes, can't believe we're saying it. Antarctica is next, our 7th continent and final continent that we're going to be visiting before we tick them all off. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you as well to our patrons for all your support. If you'd like to become a patron to support us even further, in return you receive extra videos, behind the scenes videos, all of our videos completely advert free. We also upload them early, plus we do a monthly crew call video chat, which is a lot of fun. If you'd like to find out more about becoming a patron, click the link in the description section below. That's it for this time. Until next time, Happy cruising!